Headed to the live line to talk to Los Angeles, I should say, because a lot of you don't even know what LA means anymore. Private detective and author of Skullduggery and Sub Rosa. We're going to talk about youth crime and leniency now with Nils Grevillius. Hi, Nils.
Well, good morning. How are you, Fawn?
I'm well. How are you, sir?
I don't think I've ever enjoyed a nicer day. Thank you for asking.
Oh, well, aren't you just the peach fuzz on the peach? We are going to talk about youth crime this morning, and I'm going to tell you I've had a couple members of my family who were part of this problem, and it makes me very angry, and I'm the first one to rat them out because I'm not having it.
Well, I agree with you. Here in Los Angeles, we've got a situation which can only be called a consequence-free society. And the cool kids voted for this, and now it seems the only thing that's really illegal is beating up transvestites in the park or something like that. Now, you can do pretty much anything else you like without much fear of consequence.
You know, I lived in Los Angeles for 5 years, and that was enough for me because it was a special kind of busy, it was a special kind of different, and it was a special kind of sneaky, and it was crime-riddled in the 80s. It's got to be 10 times worse now.
We've got some real problems here, Fawn, I can assure you.
Okay, and it is a lot of times the youth. It's the very young. And I don't know how we got from disciplining and growing into good adults to just not being allowed to discipline at all and letting our kids act like wild animals. When did this happen?
Well, I think that the parents invested in this emotionally and sort of surrendered to the whole thing. I'm going to point out back during the COVID fiasco, the quarantine or whatever you want to call it, you had a lot of people sitting at home pretending to work from home and exposing their children to too much Netflix content and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And when children see their parents going along with it or approving of it or being entertained by criminality, that sort of thing, those elementary school-age children are teenagers now, and what are they going to do? They're going to do what their parents do. They're going to adopt the views of their parents. But not always. Sometimes they can get bad views from social media, artificial intelligence, things like that.
Yeah. TikTok has got to be the worst thing that has ever happened.
Oh, it's pure garbage. Pure garbage.
Yeah. And it's addictive. They sit and they scroll and they scroll and they scroll. I caught my 9-year-old grandson doing something he saw on TikTok, and I said, "You don't even have a TikTok account. How did you see it?" And he said, "Well, it was a blip on YouTube. So it's invading everywhere. The advertisements for TikTok are showing things that try to draw people to TikTok, and then all of our kids are doing this dumb stuff, and some of it is being criminal against other people and being criminal just in general. And the prosecutors appear to think saying, naughty, 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 don't do it again is going to stop them."
Yeah, I think you're precisely correct. And I'll point out that 10 years ago, they had something called the Tide Pod Challenge on YouTube, featuring young, stupid people chewing up Tide Pods and choking and that sort of thing and acting as if this was something hip and cool. Well, 10 years later, they were dyeing their hair purple and gaining 500 pounds and mutilating their genitalia. It's all performative. It's all calculated to get approval and likes, etc. on social media.
All right. So as a private detective, do parents ever ask you to go find their kids? They say they've been gone, they're in a gang, they're this, they're that. Or do you focus more on grievous crimes?
Well, children can get involved in some very bad things. When a parent comes to me and says their juvenile is missing and the police won't look, it's usually the police have taken multiple reports of runaway, that sort of thing, and the child is involved in gang activity of some sort or another. The true hardcore gangs, like, say, or some of the Latino street gangs in Los Angeles, typically the parents were involved in gang activity themselves, so it's intergenerational criminality. Those parents never come to me. It's very strange for them. Those gang parents don't want their gang kids rounded at all. When middle-class families come to me, though, with a missing child, I always snap into action to do what I can to get them home quickly.
It's got to be a dangerous job, though.
Well, I'm not a hairdresser. It is a dangerous job. And, all of us learn in this profession, whether we're working for public agencies as detectives or for a private agency like my own, to minimize the risk.
Yeah.
Don't take on more than you can handle, and use very good judgment. Good intentions aren't so good if you don't use good judgment.
So how did you get into this? What's your background?
Well, I was always the worst kid in school, and I went in the Army at 17, and wasn't much better at the Army than I was at high school, but I learned a lot of things, and then went to the Pinkertons after the Army, worked at the Wilshire field office of the Pinkertons in Los Angeles, and eventually found my way into my own practice. 1992, I got my ticket.
Okay, and you've been doing it ever since.
Ever since.
1992, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so do you have any cases that stick out in your mind that you couldn't find an answer to that live with you?
Yes, I've got a missing persons case from the mid-'80s involving a young lady who went missing on the eve of trial. She was going to testify at the felony trial of a friend's stepfather. Her friend had been molested by the stepfather, and the Sunday before court, she disappeared so thoroughly and completely as if she evaporated.
But people know something, and that would drive me crazy. I don't know how you do what you do, but it's got to be disconcerting to you, though, just to see how many parents have thrown their hands in the air and are giving up and not trying to get their kids right.
Being a parent was never easy, and in no era was being a parent easy. I can assure you, Fawn. But I want to tell you, I have a book coming out in June next year, The Last Lawman, which is my true-to-life professional memoir. I also want to give a shout-out to my handsome cousin, Robert, who lives right in Cape Girardeau with his fabulous wife, family, Missouri, and it's one of my favorite places in the entire world. I don't think you could find a nicer place than Missouri.
No, it's a Cape Girardeau family. Robert is your brother?
He's my cousin.
He's your cousin. Well, Robert, good morning to you. I hope you're listening today, because your cousin, Nils, is killing it. All right, so your new book is available Amazon, everywhere?
It will be on in June of 2026, just in time to ruin your father's Father's Day. Instead of a crappy necktie, you can get him my true-to-life expose of what it's like to run and gun in a city like Los Angeles. I've done everything from gypsy crime to picking up bail jumpers. I've crossed the southern border and brought many back at gunpoint from Mexico. I've gone after con artists, rapists, swindlers, everything that you could think of.
That's awesome. You know, you should have Liam Neeson play in a movie.
Well, I was thinking that might work. You know, John Hamm is the wrong kind of handsome, and Danny DeVito isn't heavy enough. So
he's too little. All right, Nils. So, you know, your line of work is dangerous. Have you ever been hurt?
I've been shot, stabbed, run over, stung by bees, had dogs sicked on me. I've broken every single finger at least once. I've broken my nose 5 times. My right ear is lower than my left ear. I have a perfect face for radio, I can assure you, Fawn.
Oh, so do I. Don't worry about that. But, Nils, you still choose to do it, though, because you have passion for it. I mean, you want to help people. Why else would you do this? I know there's money in it, but...
I have an ulterior motive, and I'll share this with you.
Okay.
I told you I was the very worst student in all of my schools. If I worked in a bank or something like that, I would get so bored that I would sit there all day fantasizing about how to tunnel in over the weekend. So it's better that I do this than that I'd be employed at a bank or, you know, a construction company or something like that. I'd just get bored and do hazardous things to people, wouldn't I?
No, you do them legally.
That is correct. That is correct.
Oh, we put a badge on a bad guy. That's what we did.
Yeah, I'm standing by like a mean dog on a weak leash to do bad things to people. That's what they pay me for.
Well, you know what? There's a job for everyone, and I think you found yours. But when it comes to youth, you have to handle with kids' gloves, but it's got to drive you crazy when you work your tail off to help find this youth who's up to no good or who's missing or who's done something, and then they go to a prosecutor and you see them on the street at 5 o'clock. That's got to drive you mad.
Well, yes. We have a real problem in most of our blue cities. Well, all of our blue cities. It's the consequence-free situation, and it hasn't gotten like this accidentally.
Yeah.
We have a criminal class that owns equity, owns shares in the party that operates California. California is run now as a colony of Mexico with a tiny ruling elite upper class. I call them the plantation class Democrats. Mm-hmm. And then immediately beneath them are the parasite class Democrats, the ones who work in city and county government or at the NGOs to enrich themselves. And then we have a vast pool of fools voting for the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. I have family members who lost houses in the Eaton fire in Altadena, and they voted for the leadership that we have. They didn't vote to have their houses burned down. You know that.
Right.
But what has occurred here that would cause any politician running this place to take pause? Do they ever wind up in irons? Do they ever get voted out of office? They don't. It just goes on and on and on. And I cannot help but believe that our ballot boxes are being stuffed by the Marxist labor unions that represent the public employees and all of these NGO workers who at nighttime or on weekends put on their Portland tuxedo and go riot in the streets as Antifa members. Every time you see one of these protests, and the idiots of the media describe them as an anti-Israel protest or a Black Lives Matter protest or Occupy Wall Street, it's all the same people. It's white Marxists, people with garbage degrees from state-funded a-hole factories that Fawn and Nils paid for.
I think you and I might be the same person. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right, so...
Well, I don't know. I don't think I'm as beautiful as you are.
Well, thank you.
But I'm pretty beautiful. I'm beautiful in a different way.
In a different way. You know, you're more talented than I am. If I got my nose broke 10 times, I've had it broken once, but not 10. All of this...
You just haven't drank enough beer, young lady.
Oh, you want to bet? You know, we just have to do better. And I know we can say that all day long, but until the people, or sheeple, as you described them in California, and believe me, I know because I lived there, their views and their mindsets are so stuck on stupid that they will continue to vote for the people who did nothing to keep their house from burning down. They may not have voted for their house to burn down, but I bet they watched out the window praying to God it wouldn't get them, and it still did. And until they stop voting for those people who will do the right thing for the land and the people, it's going to continue on. And Gavin Newsom thinking he can run this country is one of the most laughable things ever.
Well, I'll point out to you that we don't have a shortage of people across the country who would vote for Gavin Newsom.
I know.
The Democrats operate like a cult. You remember how quickly they changed gears after Brandon got dropped off the ticket, and suddenly Comrade Kamala was absolutely the be-all and end-all of Democrat leadership. It was like on Monday, Brandon was running, and on Tuesday he's gone, and the media drives their getaway car. Yeah. This is what I can say about this. The way of the fool is to have very low standards and very high expectations. It's much wiser to have very high standards and very low expectations.
Mm-hmm. I agree, 100%. That way you can sometimes achieve something.
Right, and you're never disappointed, are you?
Yeah. There's pee in your Cheerios every morning if you're a conservative in California at the way things are being led. So
I don't let them get anywhere near my Cheerios.
Yeah.
into a coma, Fawn. Don't hit yourself.
He's a private detective in Los Angeles. He's author of Skullduggery and Sub Rosa, as well as his new book coming out. Give him the title once more.
The Last Lawman, Fawn Riggin, and I'm standing by. I can't wait to be on your show again, and I want to wish all of Cape Girardeau and those poor people over in Illinois a good morning for you.
Happy day to you. Thanks, Nils.
And cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.